It's a very common question. Spiritual OCD. Thoughts that are very dangerous, and the person keeps on thinking that this is kufr, I'm leaving Islam, whatnot. So this is a very difficult question to summarize. First and foremost, understand what is waswasa. Understand it, study it. This is waswasa. Shaitan putting doubts in your heart. Therefore, one of the cures, not the only one of the cures must be spiritual. Increase your dhikr, increase your Qur'an. But it's not the only thing you need to do. Other things also you need to do. Of them is, you need to learn. I don't believe in distraction, because distraction doesn't get rid of the waswasa. You need to learn to live with ideas not impacting your actions. You need to come to a place where the idea might be in your head, it's not changing your action. If you think, I haven't done wudu properly, that's what you think. If you have done the proper washing, khalas, do not repeat it again. If you think, astaghfirullah, I thought about that, I'm a kafir, don't act upon it and say the kalima again. No, do not act upon thoughts that are waswasa. You need to learn to live with them. Also, you battle waswasa with yaqeen. Yaqeen. What is yaqeen? Allah is Ghafoor. Allah is Rahim. Allah will not punish me for a thought. This is yaqeen. This is yaqeen. And waswasa is dhanni, shak. So you battle dhann with yaqeen. And you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you keep on raising the bar of tolerance of ideas without it impacting your actions. So this is in a nutshell, and I've given a longer lecture about OCD. Next question, we're doing theological questions now. So some of my family members say, Madad ya Rasulallah, or they say help from the Abdul Qadhi al-Jilani or Hasani or whatnot. What is your verdict on this? I have said multiple times, this is not something we should do. It is not a part of our tradition. We believe these types of ideas are very dangerous, because your heart starts becoming attached to other than Allah, and you're invoking other than Allah. It should not be done. And without a doubt, our Prophet did not come that you say Madad ya Ghawth and Madad ya Ali. This is not why he was sent. So if your relatives are doing this, you should advise them that this is not a part of our religion, and you should tell them that help is sought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Next question is, how do you now define shirk? Because you used to define it in a particular manner. Now, what is the definition of shirk? The definition of shirk remains exactly the same, by the way, as it used to be. Nobody changes definitions. Definition of shirk is what Allah has defined it, and the Prophet has defined it. How has Allah defined it in the Qur'an? فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And the Prophet said that when he was asked, what is the greatest sin? He said, أن تجعل لله ندا وهو خلقك. The same thing. You make for Allah, you create in your mind for Allah a partner. You assume that Allah has a nid. So, what is the definition of shirk? To assume that another entity shares any of the powers of Allah or any of the rights of Allah. This is shirk. If you believe another entity, any entity, besides, there is only one ilah, la ilaha illallah. If you believe any other entity even has partial, nobody says it has to be equal, right? Allah says in the Qur'an that وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. They took lesser than Allah gods, lesser than Allah. So to say that Allah is, like the Quraysh said, Allah is the supreme God, then there are many gods. These many gods, if Allah wanted to, He could stop them. But Allah has given them free license. And in their domains, they can do whatever they want. This is the essence of shirk. And anybody who believes another entity or a prophet or a wali or a saint has ultimate unrestricted power even in a domain, then this would be a type of shirk. Anybody who believes that they should worship or they're allowed to worship other than Allah. No one is worshipped other than Allah. If any person believes that another being should be worshipped, so the niyyah is to make worship to other than Allah, then without a doubt this is shirk akbar. This is the definition of shirk, to create in your mind, because it doesn't exist, there is no actual God besides Allah, to assume there is a partner. And a partner can be 1%. In a company, partners don't have to be equal. You can have 70%, 30% partner. You can have 90%, 10% partner. They're still partners in a company. So a partner is somebody who shares some aspect of what the other partners share. Doesn't have to be the same. So if anyone believes that any entity shares some of the powers of Allah, divine powers, shares some of the rights of Allah, the right to be worshipped, then this is a type of shirk. So this is Aqidah questions. Now we get on to obviously marriage and divorce. La hawla wa quwwata illa billah. Guys, I'm literally quoting your questions back to you. So sorry if you find some of these problematic. These are your questions that I was asked. Allah musta'an. A woman cheated on her husband with somebody. They ended up getting a divorce. Is she then allowed to perform a nikah with the person she cheated on after the iddah? La hawla wa quwwata illa billah. It's a very sad question, sad reality. Technically speaking, after the iddah, she may marry that person and the nikah is valid. So it is a sad situation and scenario. We ask Allah's refuge and we seek forgiveness for all of them if they truly repented to Allah. But technically, this marriage is valid. Which marriage? After the iddah. So the husband and wife that were married, an affair is discovered, they divorce. After the iddah, then the partner marries the affair partner, right? So the ex-wife or the ex-husband marries the affair partner after the iddah. This is technically jaiz and the marriage contract will be valid. And whether it should be done or not depends on the particular circumstances. Next question. We're having a problem in our community or in our culture now where secret marriages are becoming more and more common, where the witnesses and the couple are the only people that are informed and involved. What is the ruling on this? Does a marriage need to be made public? Listen to me carefully. I said this last month as well. Forget technicalities. No marriage will flourish if it is done in secret. This is not ethical. It is not noble. This is not going to flourish and it's not going to lead to long-lasting happiness. If you wish to get married, be a man and get married properly. Go to the wali of the lady and don't have any secrets. You don't have to have a massive festival, but you should not tell people, hey, keep it secret. Okay, you don't have to do the largest 10,000, 5,000, 2,000 people, but to tell the witnesses, hey, don't tell anybody else. This is a secret marriage. This contradicts the entire spirit of the nikah, and it's going to end up in pain and disaster. The problem that people ask is that, is this technically halal? And this is where the issue comes. Not everything that is technically halal is something you should do, because the technical halal is the lowest level. But is it noble? Is it something that is going to bring happiness? The bare minimum halal, if you were to do the bare minimum halal in a marriage, any marriage, that marriage would not function. If a husband said, I will only give you the bare minimum of time and attention and love, and the wife said, I'll give you the bare minimum of my wifely duties, how will such a marriage flourish? That marriage will completely be gone. So, brothers, when you say, is it technically halal? Understand, this is not the spirit of our religion. Yes, you should know, is it technically halal? But then also go beyond this. Is it something the Sharia recommends? Is it noble? Technical halal is one thing, and yes, technical halal, as long as the conditions are met. The woman, if she has not been previously married, needs to have a wali. There are 2 witnesses, the mahr. This is the technical halal. And if this is done, perhaps there is no sin in the eyes of Allah, but there's also no dignity in such a marriage. There's no nobility, and it will cause harm to the individuals, especially to the woman. And this is why, sisters, I keep on saying, please understand, no matter what happens in history, no matter the trends of society, no matter what you call feminism, biology remains biology, and nothing will change in biology. Allah placed the wali for your protection, not to make life difficult for you. Allah placed the wali to protect you, not to make life difficult for you. And when you bring the wali, everything changes. When you bring the wali into the picture, automatically there is a change. So definitely, wali, 2 witnesses, mahar is the bare minimum, but secret marriages go against the spirit of Islam and they will be problematic in the long run. Even if it's not sinful, you might not go to Jahannam, but this is not rewarding. You see the point here, right? And the least that can be said, it is makruh and strongly discouraged, and it should not become the norm. So, brothers and sisters, I say very clearly that you should not just be asking, is it technically halal? You should be looking at the overall picture, and I say that this should not become the norm. It's very sad to find that this is happening. Question about marriage here. Is civil divorce in the American courts counting as the Sharia divorce or not? this is a bit more nuanced here. If the husband initiates a civil divorce and signs the paper and speaks to the judge and says, I'm divorcing my wife, right? Effectively, this is an Islamic divorce. Because he doesn't have to be in front of a judge. If he says, I'm divorcing my wife, and he signs the paper and my wife is divorced, doesn't matter whether you're in front of a non-Muslim judge or a Muslim judge or in the privacy of your home. When you say, I am divorcing, and you sign and whatnot, this is talaq. So whether it's civil or not, then makes no difference. It is an Islamic talaq. It has taken place. The problem comes the opposite, when the woman files for divorce. This is where there's some issues and controversy in this regard. And what the Fiqh Council of North America is saying is that if a woman files for divorce for legitimate reasons, abuse, financial abandonment, if a woman files divorce for legitimate reasons, and she cannot assess those independent reasons without a trained faqih involved, some alim and sheikh that has studied Islamic law, he should look at this case between the husband and wife. And he should see, is this a legitimate case? Is there physical abuse? Is there, emotional? Is there financial type of abuse, abandonment? In this case, the husband says, I'm not going to divorce her. And he's being zalim. He's clearly being zalim. What do you expect her to do? What is her alternative? So in this case, we say, if the husband is being unjust, then she files for civil divorce with the validation of a neutral, independent, trained faqih,